A mysterious monster is turning people to stone in a German village in 1910. When his girlfriend is killed, Bruno becomes the prime suspect. His ensuing suicide seems to confirm his guilt, but Professor Karl Meister isn't so sure. He thinks one of the villagers is possessed by the spirit of Megara, the sister to Medusa. Among the possible culprits are Dr. Namaroff, gorgeous nurse Carla, and a mental patient. Right, hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. Rock people, yes, says Wingrace. Not, can you smell what the rock is cooking? Not that sort of rock people. Or rock people like me, giving it all that. Other kinds of rock people. Right, so welcome to Friday, I think this is Magnificent Mondays, then. Welcome to Friday Night Appointment with Fear, episode 79. We're approaching 100, aren't we? This week we're doing The Gorgon, a classic bit of hammer horror from 1964. So you might think this is a bit passé, a bit oldie worldy. We've done old films before, so I'm doing them again today. Yes, Joshua Kanapke's on time today. Yay! We're doing an old film, Joshua. So yes, we're doing The Gorgon from 1964. Let's get some info about it. Directed by Terence Fisher. Starring Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Richard Pascoe, Barbara Shelley, Michael Goodliffe. There's also what's his bloody name now? I'll have to look it up now. Jack Watson. There's also Jack Watson in it, and Patrick Troughton and Prudence Hyman. This would be the first time that Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee had been in a Hammer film for I think about 6 years, maybe. Something like that, 5 or 6 years. And it was the last Hammer film distributed by Columbia Pictures. I think after this, they went to Warner Brothers for the distribution. Warner Brothers 7 Arts, whatever the hell they were called. So there we go. And I think we're also... no, it wasn't. I'm lying. Never mind. I wouldn't say I think it's the last film directed by Terence Fisher, but it wasn't, was it? What am I talking about? Right. Had a budget of only $150,000, and they did quite well with that money. People laugh at the effects of the Gorgon when we see it, but you know, 1964, $150,000. Was it pound? £150,000. I don't know what that is in 1964 dollars, but I think it's fine. Just as I love the old stuff, fantastic cast it is, and they're kind of reversed in this as well. Peter Cushing kind of plays a baddie, not really a baddie, but just not a nice person, and Christopher Lee is the good guy in this. I think this was one of the first times that they did that. We would see it again later in other films, but I think it's one of the first times that we saw Christopher Lee being the good guy and Peter Cushing kind of being the bad guy. Right, so is that it? What else have I got to say about it? The Gorgon in this film is not Medusa. They call her Megara in this. And in Greek myth, Megara wasn't a Gorgon. I've got it written down here somewhere, the Gorgons. Where have I put it? I've got it somewhere. I had to write it down because I couldn't really remember. The Gorgons were... I don't know how to pronounce it. Stheno, Uriel, or Uriel, I have no idea, and Medusa. They were the 3 Gorgons. Megara was one of the Furies, which were like vengeance goddesses. There were Alecto, Tisiphone, and Megara, who was like the goddess of jealousy or something like that. But for some reason, the writer, John Gilling, decided to name the Gorgon in this Megara, and they even mentioned Medusa and I think Stheno. I think they miss out one of the Gorgon sisters and name her Megara, and nobody's really sure why. But it could be. By the way, my Blu-ray arrived in time, so I watched that today. As I said, I thought it were in my Hammer film box set that I've got over there, but it wasn't. So I quickly ordered the Blu-ray off of Amazon. And it's a pretty good damn Blu-ray, and it looks lovely. A great transfer. And it's got some nice special features on it. It's got a nice documentary and some interviews. And I a mildly interesting audio commentary. But there we go. So anyway, I learned in that the writer John Gilling may have known about the HMS Megara, which was a British ship, and that had a figurehead. Actually, I'll show you it. Hang on, where are we? Let me go full screen here. I can't, can I? Just bear with me. I'm all fingers and thumbs. Where are we? There we go. Right, that's all I wanted to do. Right, I'll share this. Right, there we go. There's the HMS Megara, and it had a figurehead. There we go, of a Gorgon with a boob out. It's art. It's fine. Complete with snaky hair. But I don't know why, because Megara wasn't a Gorgon, but the ship had that figurehead. So maybe John Gilling knew about this and just assumed, or maybe just thought that. I think you can just make it out in that painting there, the figurehead there. Thought that that one of the Gorgons was called Megara. I don't know, but anyway. Looks like a similar font to that mid-late 70s flick Gargoyles. Does it? I don't know. Let's have a look. Maybe so. I don't know. It's just like a standard. I think we've seen this sort of font in other things, haven't we? Did like is it Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires? Did that have a similar font as well? It might have done. Anyway, Gargoyles, a film that I'm not a big fan of. People love it, but I'm not a big fan of Gargoyles. That might have appeared on the Monday morning if I'd have carried on with that. But anyway, so there we go. So that's a bit of info about maybe how he came up with the name Megara. Some have said that he might have picked Megara because it sounds a bit more feminine than Stheno and Uriel, however you pronounce that. I don't know. But anyway, so there we go. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Right, so let's get on with the film, shall we? But before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos. Hang on, I should do a point there, down there. It's down there. Like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Fingers crossed I'm monetized, because I did use a naughty word, didn't I? In my intro, the S word, you know, where the self-deletion word, but we'll see what happens. So maybe the super thanks, super chat thing and super thanks buttons are working. Maybe they're not. I don't know. What else? Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Sorry, I plugged my books. I haven't plugged them for a week. Links are in the description, as are the links for my 2 books. Silent Predator, short horror novella about big cats eating people in North Yorkshire. It's all fun. And Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and alien abductions and alien invasions and pew-pews and all that stuff. It's all a bit of fun. An Amazon Kindle and paperback. Give them a whirl. Right, off we go. Let's get on with this film. Right, just let me do that and minimize that and maximize this. And off we go. As usual, we'll not be just watching the film because I get into trouble, you know, with all that. So watching the series of stills, I may play the odd snippet. So right, I'll make myself titty tiny. Oh, hang on, I've got to. Where are we? No, not that one. That one. I've got to get rid of all this info for the subtitles. There we go. There we go. Right. So I will shrink myself down. I can't remember which one. I've got too many customs layouts. I can never remember which is which. Try that one. There we go. That'll do. Right. Oh, crikey. Thank you very much, Joshua. Looks like it works. Yes, it does. I thought using the S word might get me into trouble. So thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. That is amazing. It all goes into the kitty and helps towards the StreamYard's fund and all that. So thank you very much. By the way, I keep forgetting to mention, I've started up my Patreon page again. So I'll stick the banner across if I can find it. There we go. I've started my Patreon page again. So I'm start uploading things as well. I've started putting these Friday Night Appointment with Fears. I've started uploading those. Those are free for everybody. You don't have to join for those. I've just left they're public. But I do, exclusive things on there. Like I said, didn't I? Exclusive things like me, a magical monochrome, and I'm going to do some, exclusive or timed exclusive news things or articles, stuff like that, lists, things like that. So there we go. So that's my Patreon duties absolved. Right, off we go. Off we go. Right, here we go. Oh, it's done that again, hasn't it? Hey, I thought I'd saved it. Right, just bear with me. How do I do this now? It's this one. Right, just bear with me. Just bear with me. Right, so that should be okay now. Save. Update layout. Right, off we go. We're full screen. Cool. Right, here we go. Right, are we playing? Are we going? Yes, we are. Columbia, the lovely Columbia lady. Right. So, did I tell you last time? I've disabled the full stop key, so I won't be restarting it. So here we go. Columbia Pictures Corporation presents a Hammer film production. Yay. And there we see a familiar castle in the background. I think this one is a reuse of like a matte painting from, I think it's Frankenstein, Curse of Frankenstein, maybe. You know what? I'll bloody check. I'll check. I meant to check this beforehand and I forgot. Right, so, Curse of Frankenstein Castle. I think it's that one. Yes, it is. Yes, yeah. They've changed the tower, the turret on this the thingamabob there, but it's the same. It's the same castle. So there, I thought so. Right. Yes, the pretty Columbia lady. Doing phone. No, sorry, dang phone. Kept trying to autocorrect a communist. Lovely communist lady. Hey dear. Valentina Tereshkova. She was a lovely communist lady, wasn't she? The first woman in space. Anyway, so there we go. Off we go. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing in the Gorgon. Lovely transfer, this. Looks lovely. With Patrick Troughton, Joseph O'Connor, and Prudence Hyman, who plays the Gorgon as Prudence Hyman. Unfortunate name, but about the Hyman part. But never mind. She plays the Gorgon, as we will see. She was actually a ballet dancer who I think she got ill or something like that. She got married and had kids or whatever. So she stopped being a ballet dancer and started becoming an actor in the 40s and 50s. There's Jack Watson, who you may know from, he's been in lots of things, but I always remember him as Sergeant Sandy Young in The Wild Geese from 1978. Amazing film. I love that film. Hey, what else? Who did the music? Does it say? I've probably skipped over it, haven't I? I've skipped over the music by the looks of it. Good old James Byrne does the music. A great score, as is to be expected. Right, off we go. And then we get a crawl shadowing the village of Vandorf stands the castle Borski. By the way, for some reason, it's set in Carpathia or somewhere in the middle, in the wilds of Europe. I think it's just so it's a bit closer to Greece. But anyway, full stop button, and there was much rejoicing. Yes, I won't be putting it back to the beginning again. Kids messed up her hips. I don't know what you're on about. Kids messed up her hips. I'm trying to think. Kids. Yes, having kids messed up her hips. Yes. Yes, I know what you mean now. Yes, I know what you're on about now. The ballet dancer. Yes. Yeah. I'm dense. I admit it. I'm dense. Anyway, right. So off we go. The intro. So here it is. As I said, it's set in Carpathia, the village of Vandorf, which is like some Sylvanian village in the middle of the wilds, the European forest sort of thing. as I say, I think they've done it just to make it, like in Eastern Europe, so it's nearer to Greece, which is where the Gorgon has travelled from. Because according to the legend that we learn in this film, like 2,000 years earlier, the Gorgons were killed. Obviously, we know Perseus killed Medusa, and the other one was killed somehow. And then the last one, Megara, fled to this area 2,000 years ago. Yes, Carpathia is closer to Greece than England. It is, yes. It's not a boat ride away. Oh, dear. Right, anyway, from the turn of the century, by the way, it's set in 1910, by the way. From the turn of the century, a monster from an ancient age of history came to live here. No living thing survived, and the spectre of death hovered in waiting for her next victim. There we go. Right, off we go. Here we see, is this another, oh, was that another matte painting? It looked like it, didn't it? Very nice, though. I think we're seeing this house. It's supposed to be an artist's house in the village. There we go. We see, don't ask me the names, I've forgotten already. Let's check. She's called Sasha, played by Tony Gilpin, Tony with an I. And now then, where the hell is he? I think he's Bruno. This chap here is Jeremy Longhurst playing Bruno Heights, who's an artist, described as a bit of a bohemian. Is the narration actually read in film or just displayed on screen? It's just displayed on screen. It's not read out. You'd thought they've had Christopher Lee or somebody reading it out, wouldn't you? Somebody with gravitas, but no. It just scrolls on and then fades out. So we've got to be able to read to know the backstory. Anyway, he's drawing away like one of his French ladies, Parisian ladies, whatever. What is it? Oh, no, it didn't show it yet. So here he is. And then he tells her, I can start painting in the morning. And then she gets angry with him for some reason, saying he's selfish. Because she wants to marry him. He must have promised her that he'll marry her, but I don't know if he has any meaning to do so. Skis. We keep seeing skis in films, don't we, for some reason? What other film did we see skis in? I can't remember. But we saw him propped up in a corner. We've seen him again, skis. It's Eastern Europe, but they must be going to the Alps or somewhere, or the Carpathian Mountains. Are they known for their slopes? Anyway, so he's saying he's got to pay off his debts and all that stuff. And so she gets angry and basically says, I'm going. But anyway, so we see some of his art that's dotted about. And also, curiously, over here in the corner, we see what seems to be like a painting or a poster or something that seems to show Medusa, doesn't it? It seems to be. I don't know, because I can't read what the writing is. But I just found that curious. But anyway. So they have a row, and oh, there we go. See it there. Something like Circle Artistique. But so is it a poster for a play about Medusa or the Gorgons or something like that? Maybe it is, or maybe it's just hair. I don't know, but it looks like Medusa to me. Anyway, Tony Gilpin. Any relation to Perry Gilpin? I have no idea. Meant Perry got hung up by the tea in Terry. Or a daughter, Betty, from Mrs. Davis. I have no idea. Shall we look her up? Let's have a look. Let's look up Tony Gilpin. Oh, she hasn't got a buddy Wikipedia thing. Right, so I'll have to type it in then. What the heck? Tony Gilpin. By the way, she passed away in 2016. She's a Scottish actress. Let's have a look. Biography, right. Birth name Antonia Maria Shakespeare McGettigan. Why did she change it to Tony Gilpin? She got Shakespeare in her name, for Christ's sake. Anyway. No, it doesn't say she's related. She was married to Richard Carr. She died on October 25th, 2016 in Bournemouth in England. That's all it says about her. She was born in 1935. in Glasgow. We've derailed another stream. It's right. Right, I don't care. It's all right. It's all part of the process of exploring the film, isn't it? We're not just watching. We're not watching it, are we? I'm just describing it, and then we're learning about it as we go. Doesn't seem to be a relation. Perry's original surname was Oldham, which is a town in Lancashire. Not that far from me. I don't know, 30, 40 miles, something like that. Anyway, so they have a row. Hang on. They have a row because she's obviously, a hysterical female. Somebody don't slap her about because, it was one of those times, wasn't it, when you were allowed to beat up women, which is a bad thing to do. Oh, I was talking about her dad is the local innkeeper, and he doesn't like Bruno. But he's going to go talk to him, and then she's saying, "No, he'll kill you," and so he's not going to go. But anyway, he sets off, and she sets off as well, half dressed. So they're both walking through the woods. Here we go. Looks a bit day for night, that, but then it actually does look like night. But anyway, so she's going through the woods. Then we see a little shrine. There's always shrines in the middle of the woods, isn't there, in Eastern Europe? I guess I'll change my name. Everyone does it. Haven't you already? Whitgrace is the man of many names. Technically, I did when I was 12 from Book to Knapke. Cool. My name's never changed. Yes, my real name is Matthew Broderick. But can you wink? Because Matthew Broderick can't wink. Well, if Godzilla's anything to go by. But anyway, that's by the by. Right, so sees a shrine. Then we see that matte painting of the castle. And then she's going through, and then she sees something that we don't see. Horrific, so she screams, and then she turns back round again. We can see she's got all these little things on her head. I don't know why it shows them. I'm wondering, did the makeup department just have lots of, for the Dracula films, little neck puncture things, what they call applications or appliances. So they just stuck those on her head. It's supposed to show that she's starting to turn to stone. She's seen the Gorgon. She's seen Megara. So she screams, "Ah, the moon!" By the way, this Gorgon only comes out on a full moon. Why? Don't know. Doesn't really explain it. But that's what happens. Anyway, I love matte paintings. Yes, I do as well. I love it. I love a matte painting that you look at and think, that's amazing. And then when you look closer, it's just like little blobs. But from a distance, it works amazingly well. Like in Star Wars, the matte painting of all the stormtroopers in the Death Star all lined up. When the Emperor comes in Return of the Jedi, when the Emperor arrives in his shuttle and all the stormtroopers are lined up, that's a matte painting. And then if you look close, they're just little blobs of white on the thing, but they look like stormtroopers. I love that stuff. It's great. Anyway. Talking about names. Matte painting is a good showbiz name. I bet there is somebody called that. I bet there is. Right, here we go. We're seeing the Van Dorf Medical Institution, run by Dr. Namaroff. This is Peter Cushing. Who else we got? Dr. Carlush, Dr. Jules Verne. Visiting by appointment only. So Dr. Jules Verne's going there. Oh, that K. Will that be Dr. K. Arlush? I wonder what that's a reference to. I don't know. I wonder if they wanted to put Arloff, as in Karloff, but I thought maybe that's a bit much. I don't know. Anyway, so here we are. By the way, it was filmed at Bray Studios. That's all Hammer films tended to be, mostly anyway. So they're using a lot of their, standing sets and stuff like that you've seen in lots and lots of Hammer films. So there he is, good old Peter Cushing. It's amazing in this. He is really, really good. Doing his scientific things. There he's in his lab. And here's the lovely Barbara Shelley. She plays Carla Hoffman. Is it that? Am I remembering that right? Barbara. Yes, Carla Hoffman. Crikey, I remember the name. She plays Carla Hoffman. She is Dr. Namaroff's Peter Cushing assistant, and we learn she's been there for 7 years. She arrived in 1903. She's German, and she's been there for 7 years. And apparently, they're living in a police state. Carpathia is a police state, it seems. That's what we're told, anyway. But well, they're bringing in the body now. So they're bringing in. They found the body of young, I forgot her name, Sasha in the forest. Bruno's gone missing, by the way. Bruno's gone missing. So here we go. Here we meet Patrick Troughton in his funny hat. He would become Doctor Who, wouldn't? Oh, the Doctor in Doctor Who in a couple of years, wouldn't he? So anyway, right. So what's he tell him? That it's the daughter of the landlord of the Saracen Inn, Sasha, and he says this may not be the same as the others. So there's been some murders over the last 5 years, apparently unsolved murders in the area. But this one's different, apparently. But anyway, so and they seem to cover them up because it's it's Peter Cushing himself describes it as a police state. So they like sweep them under the rug because they're in the middle of nowhere. They can just like sweep it under the rug. So that's essentially what they do. Because Peter Cushing knows what's going on. Dr. Namaroff, is it Namaroff? Something like that, isn't it? Namaroff, yes. I always think of Nemiroff, Perry Nemiroff, that reviewer with the bangs. Remember her? Is she still going? Don't know. Anyway. Right, so here we go. This is Jack Watson. He plays, I can't remember. It ends in off. Lots of offs. Yeah, Jack Watson, where is he? Ratoff. He plays Ratoff. Who's not a nice person in this film. He's the orderly. He's bringing in the body. And then she takes over to push it over somewhere. But as she does, you can see, catches the finger on this metal thing, brazier, whatever the hell it is, and the finger drops off. Which I remember when I first saw this, I found that quite shocking, even though it's essentially just a statue losing a finger. I'm like thinking, what a real person that's turned to stone. And it reminded me of, in V, the series V, when that fella comes out and his hand's frozen. There was like an accident at this plant, and the fella freezes his hand and he comes out and he smashes it on a railing or something, and his hand just smashes and disintegrates. Which was quite shocking for TV in 1983 or whenever it came out. Kind of reminds me of that a bit. Don't know why, I'm waffling. If you're watching Sci-Fi Quest, I hope you're feeling okay. Yes, I hope he's okay. We're supposed to have a stream, wasn't it, while Melvin at 7 o'clock, and we're all ready to go, and it had disappeared. So I presume he's not feeling well again, or maybe it's his internet playing up again. I don't know, but anyway. When they break, frozen or stone people, it always gets me more than regular mushy people. Yeah, it does me as well for some reason. I don't know why, but it just does. But anyway, but she's all shocked by it. Look, her eyes wide, and she's lovely, by the way, Barbara Shelley. I thought she was. But in this film, I don't know if this is true. It's just my observation. She seems to be filmed a bit more starkly. Maybe it's the makeup as well. She looks a bit more, I don't know, angular. Is that the right word? I don't know. There is a reason maybe for it. But in other films that she's been in, like, the Dracula films and Quatermass and the Pit and Village of the Damned and all them, she's usually filmed in kind of soft focus. What they used to do in Star Trek a lot in the original series. They used to film their female guest stars in soft focus, didn't they? But not in this one. We're getting in full stark mode. Anyway, right, but whatever. But then we hear a scream, and then this woman comes running down, from the intro I did earlier on, I think this is the mental patient in question. I don't know her name. I think it might be Maria. Is it Maria? She's escaped, or trying to escape. She's attacked the nurse and she's bit the orderly. So Dr. Namor offers to go out and see to it. She calms down, like she's kicking off and laughing and screaming and being all crazy because it's, you know, it's an asylum, I suppose you could say it. I suppose in those days they call it Bedlam, wouldn't they, after the Bedlam Asylum? But anyway, but as soon as she sees him, she like calms down instantly, like that, as though she's frightened of him. I suspect dodgy things go on. It doesn't tell us, but I suspect, you know, he does iffy experiments. But anyway, no Vaseline on her lens. No Vaseline on there. No soft focus. And Josh Temple's here. Sorry being super late lately, but never fear. Maddie's here. Harpoon at the ready. We need a harpoon or something that can use from a distance or use in a reflection. But anyway, welcome to the show. The Council of Joshers has convened. We may now continue. Anyway, so there we go. So he tells her, put her in a straitjacket and keep her in it and all that jazz. So they take them away. He comes and comforts Clara. Is it Clara? I forgot her bloody name already. What am I like? Carla, not Clara, Carla. Thinking of Doctor Who again. Comforts Carla, and we learn that he's in love with her, and he's being what's the word? He's quite possessive of her, and he gets jealous. And I've just noticed the German words there, didn't there? It was supposed to be Carpathia. Carpathia's in Romania. Wouldn't it be in Romanian? I'm sure it says it's in I'm sure I saw something. It says it's in Carpathia. No, it says here Germany 1910 in the plot in on Wikipedia. But sure in the commentaries and stuff and the thing in this. I'm sure it said Carpathia, but that's not in Germany, is it? That's in Romania. They got that wrong, didn't they? Anyway, whatever. So it's in Germany somewhere. We'll say southeastern Germany. But Germany might have been bigger back then. Maybe it included Carpathia back in 1910. I don't know. So we get derailed and look that up. How far did Germany extend in 1910? Germany, 1910. Let's have a look. No, we're about the same as it is now, to be honest. But maybe its influence extended further. Austro-Hungarian Empire and all that. Maybe. Anyway, right. So anyway, so calms her down. Oh, I note the body that's now missing a finger, and he does have a look, and this kind of reminded me of a film that he'll do about 9 years later, in The Creeping Flesh, where he has a finger that's made of stone, washes it, and it grows skin. Kind of reminded me of that. I wonder if he'll try and wash this one. But anyway. So anyway, he has a look. He pulls up the screen. The policeman, the inspector, Patrick Troughton, asks if we're going to do an autopsy. And there we see that poor Sasha has turned to stone. And apparently, what happens when you see the Gorgon, you don't instantly turn to stone. It takes some time. It can take hours, I think, or maybe up to an hour. I don't know. It takes some time. You don't die instantly and become a statue instantly. So probably when they found her, she hadn't turned to stone. But they brought her in, and as she's lied there, she's finished her transformation. Because another fella sees the Gorgon later on, and he's got time to get home and write a letter and everything. But we'll get to that. So there we go. Body that's turned to stone. Oh, right. So they're out looking for Bruno now, because he's like the prime suspect. I presume the inspector's not told his men that she turned to stone, because how did he turn her to stone? I don't know, but They're just looking for the classing it as murder. I don't think they're mentioning that she's turned to stone thing. In current D&D parlance, I think you get 2 or 3 saving throws against being petrified. I wouldn't know. I once tried playing D&D with some workmates and stuff. I couldn't get into it. Because I'm an idiot. Anyway, right. So this chap, whoever he is, says he's scared. He doesn't want to go near the castle. Patrick Troughton's telling him, "Oh, you'll be fine. You've got a gun. Use it." Anyway, the dogs find Bruno. There he is. Oh, they're barking up a tree. They're not barking up the wrong tree. They're barking up the right tree because, as we see, Bruno's there, hanging. But he's got these injuries on his forehead, as though, I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know, but we're not told what happened to him. We didn't see what happened to him. So did he just hang himself, or was he hanged? I have no idea. We don't know. But anyway, I was a version 3.5 D&D player. Then did a bit of 4. I have no idea what you're talking about. So poor Bruno's passed away. Then we cut to the inquest. So everybody's there. This is Bruno's dad, Professor. I think it's Professor Heights. Is he Professor Doctor? Yes, he's Professor Jules Heights, played by Michael Goodliff, whose hair changes, as we'll see later on. But anyway, we'll get there. So they're having the inquest, and it's basically a kangaroo court. The inspector's saying he thinks that Bruno killed Sasha, in a fit of passion or whatever. They were lovers, they had a falling out, and he killed her, and and then hanged himself in remorse. So that's the open and shut case. That's what he's saying. They're describing that he liked his drink, and he did have a temper and all that. That's what they're trying to say to him, and he was a bad egg. This is Sasha's dad, the innkeeper, and he says he didn't like Bruno and all that. But Sasha loved him. He forbade her to see him, but she disobeyed. That's Bruno's dad. You see, he's got a full head of hair. Is it a wig? I've no idea, because when we see him later on, something happens to him. I don't know if you can see that on the thumbnail. His hair completely changes. But anyway, right. So he's the magistrate or whatever. I don't know. We're still talking about bloody Dungeons and Dragons. Dear. Well, and then it's Peter Cushing's turn, being the local medical chap. When they were filming this, he had a really bad cough. Not surprising, because he was a chain smoker, wasn't he? Was Peter Cushing? He had a really bad cough, and he used it in this scene. He actually did genuinely cough, and he takes a drink of water as well. So he used his ailment in the scene, and it makes it more natural. But he tells the girl's cause of death was I think it said heart failure or something. I think. No. So heart failure comes later for another one. Result of violence. It's not mentioning that she turned to stone. So I don't know what. But we see Barbara Shelley's thinking, what's going on here? Deep abrasions on the forehead, which is not true, obviously. And indentations in the skull. He's just making it up. Then he has a drink of water and goes and sits back down. And Bruno's dad, he has a word, and he says he's come from Leipzig or whatever. And he's going to vindicate his son. He's going to show that his son didn't murder this poor girl and all that. And he's learned about the other murders that have happened. Some happened, I think, when his son wasn't even there. So he's going to get to the bottom of it, etc. So anyway, but the magistrate, whatever, waves him off, checks his watch. I've got to be elsewhere. So right, so he makes his judgment that Bruno Heights murdered Sasha, whatever her name is, and then took his own life, and blah, blah, signs it off. There we go. So that's what he says. So that's the end of that officially. But obviously, Professor Heights is going to hang around and try and get to the bottom of what really happened. Because I think he says he's learned about the legend of Megara, who's supposed to be terrorizing the castle and the forest and stuff. But it's just a local legend. Carla tried to comfort him here, but Peter Cushing, Dr. Namaroff, sort of pulls her to one side and leaves him. They're supposed to be friends, Namaroff and Professor Heights, but they don't seem very friendly in this. This way she's berating him, telling him, he didn't tell him about the body turning to stone and all that. And, I can't believe that you lied and all and stuff to cover it up. But Professor Heights has come. He's going to tell Namaroff that, he doesn't think his son were a murderer and, something is afoot in this village. There he goes smoking. There's always smoking in the Peter Cushing. He uses, in this film, he uses, what they call them? I forgot what they call them now. Them long stick, like a filter. Did they call them that? That you stick a cigarette in. He uses that, and he used to wear white gloves on set so he didn't get nicotine stains on his fingers because he was a chain smoker. Hang on, where are we now? Just get past your in the chat, Dungeons and Dragons. Joshua Temple is saying, just a heads up, start the 22nd, I'll be starting a new job, so may not get to watch live for a while. Oh dear. But we'll always try to, and we'll get back to it one day. Cool. Well, congratulations on your new job. I hope it's a good one. Yes, you'll be missed, but your seat is always open. The Council of Joshers must convene in one form or another. Yes, good luck on the new job. Cool. You will be missed. Anyway, back to the film. Dr. Heights is saying, do you think my son is capable of murder? And he says, well, I think Dr. Namaroff says, I think, anybody's capable of murder in the right conditions. But, he can't say one way or the other about Bruno, even though he did know him. But he's keeping his cards close to his chest. And this is where he talks about Megara, the legend of Megara. There we go. And this is where they said that she was one of the Gorgons, but as we know, she wasn't. But that's by the by. For the purposes of this story, she was a Gorgon. Led to these parts 2,000 years ago. People who see her, she's so hideous. People who saw her or looked her in the eye, so to speak, were turned to stone. And saying, it's just a legend and all that jazz. But he's going to investigate it. I think they do the old. Well, all legends have some basis in fact, sort of thing. But anyway, right. So he's set up his base in his son's house. He's brought his butler with him, his servant or whatever. And as he's reading a book, a local mob throws a Molotov cocktail through the window. Any minute now, here it comes. They hear a commotion. There we go. So tell him to get out, and they throw. There we go. They throw the Molotov cocktail through the window and set fire to the house, but they put it out. Then the police come, and the mob goes away, essentially. But they're trying to get him to leave. They get out of here. We don't like new strangers, etc. But Patrick Troughton arrives and, said, clear off and all that jazz. I don't know why they don't want him there. They just don't, Supposed to be like an isolated town, they don't like strangers. They don't want him stirring up trouble or getting Megara angry if they believe in the legend, whatever. I don't know, but there we go. They don't want unwelcome visitors. That's what they don't like. So even Patrick Troughton saying, you should leave. But the professor's saying, my business not over. But It's got a train station, by the way, as the town. So they all seem to be arriving on train because they keep mentioning it. We'll escort you to the station. Anyway. Right, he's sending a letter to Professor Meister, who we learn is Christopher Lee. His other son, whose name I've forgotten, Paul. His other son, Paul, is like a student or an assistant or whatever to Professor Meister. So he's sending him a letter, telling his son that he wants his son to come and help him. So right, he's going to catch a train. We see Christopher Lee here now. We don't see him again for ages. He comes back about 2/3 of the way through the film. Right. Here we are, back at the Hertz house. Is it Heights house? We see he's boarded up the windows already. I've always got plenty of wood for boarding up windows. If I got a window smashed, I'd be knackered. I haven't got no wood anyway. But anyway, they always have plenty of wood in these films. Right, so he's writing down his notes. He hears some singing from somewhere. So he goes to investigate. Another Blu-ray, it says, singing gets louder, He's going to investigate. We can't see where the singing's coming from, but he goes to check it out. But then the moon appears from behind the clouds. And for some reason, we see that shrine again and the castle. Yes. He just stepped out of his door, his house or whatever, or his garden, and then suddenly he's in the shadow of the castle. So I don't know how long he'd been walking for, but he had. They have plenty of wood and get turned rock hard. Freud, is that you? Oh dear. Is it all sexual, Wingrace? Anyway, so he goes, checks out the castle. This is probably Dracula's castle, probably. But you can see it's still the same set from the Dracula films. I'm sure it is. It probably is, isn't it? Just redressed with a broken statue in the middle. I think it's supposed to be pitch dark in here because he trips over that. Look, so I think it's supposed to be darker than it appears. But anyways, looking round, I can't remember if the singing were carrying on. I think it's stopped now. I think it's gone quiet. But then he notices something up in the shadows. See a big mirror there. Look, that comes in later on for the climax of the film. But as he's looking, hang on a second, I've gone too far. Oh no, I am. We get a jump scare. Loads of birds, doves appear. But as he looks, he sees something in the shadows. It's going to skip over her, isn't it? Yeah, it is. There we go. He sees her. There she is, the Gorgon. It doesn't give us a good look yet, but he's seen her. Then he's got the little puncture marks in his forehead. Why? Don't know. But he does. And he goes running off. But not instantly turning to stone, you see. Teleportation. Yes, that's how we got there quickly. Yes, some sort of portal. I have more than enough sheets of plywood to cover all my windows twice over. Can never be too prepared for the apocalypse. Oh, right. You're what do they call them now? You're a prepper. You're a prepper, aren't you? And probably rightly so. Doves, is this a John Woo movie? Yes, it must be. It must be. I bet he's there somewhere as a kid. This was his inspiration. Anyway, so he goes running out. We didn't get a good look at her. We got a little bit. We could see her behind them pillars and stuff, behind the cobwebs, but we didn't get a good look at her. So he goes running out, gets home, and then we see that, look, his hair's changed. It looks totally different. What's happened? Even his hairline's changed. Look, he had a full head of hair, didn't he? That were like, I don't know, but now his hair's totally different now. Is this because he's turning to stone that changes your hairline? It must do. Anyway, servant comes and says, "Oh, what's happened?" He says, "Don't come near it." He knows he's dying because he knows the legend because he's speaking about it earlier on. He knows he's turning to stone. But he wants to write a letter to his son Paul. Remember, Paul's on his way. So he's got to write this letter. There you go. And so there we go. And then so he writes it. He's just got enough time to write this letter. There we go. I am turning to stone. And then he went, and he dropped it. So there we go. Should have gone all the way down page, shouldn't it? Thank God I have been spared time to tell you what I saw this night. I'm agonized by pains in my chest. This is the one that Peter Cushing says, the death certificate says he died of heart failure. Not that he turned to stone. Gorgonized is the word that they use. Oh my. They really shouldn't let us get a good look at her. I don't want to turn to stone. Well, we're looking at her like a reflection, aren't we? So it's not really her, so we're fine. Ag. Right, so I think Paul's arrived now, and this is obviously passages of time of like maybe a day or so. Allowing for people to arrive. So Paul's here. This is Paul, played by, can't remember, forgotten. Richard Pascoe. I don't know what else he's been in. He's got one of those faces that you've seen him in things. And this is where we're learning that he's been refused permission to see his father's body. I presume all his brother's body as well. This is where Peter Cushing says, well, it is a police state. They don't have to give a reason. That's what he says. There we go. This is a police state, Mr. Heights. They don't have to give a reason. There we go. So he's telling him that his dad died of heart failure. Not that he turned to stone, so he knows what's going on. All right, he wants to see the letter. There's Namaroff, and he won't let him. He said, "No, I'm not going to let you see it." Because it says, I think it says in the letter somewhere, my father gave instructions that no one else should read this letter. And then he says, he wrote this letter. You don't have to, when you're having heart failure, you don't have the wherewithal to write a 3 or 4 page letter. So he says that doesn't sound like heart failure. But anyway, so he says he's going to mention in Megara again, the Gorgon. So he's going to hang around and get to the bottom of what's going on. He's going to find the creature and destroy it or whatever. Right. So he sets up his base in his brother's house. Getting a lot of uses this set in it, and not one of them have mentioned about the Gorgon Medusa poster that he's got. But anyway, right. So out he goes, looking. In this, whatever the hell it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's supposed to be a well or something. I don't know. Just a fountain, a pool. Is it this way? Does he see a reflection? Is it this one? Oh, yes. No, this, yes. As he's looking at the leaves in the water, we see a shadow go by him. There we go. And as he turns round, there's nobody there. No bugger there. But it turns out it's Carla. He goes in and he sees her. She's reading the letter that his father left him. So she apologises. She'd come to give her condolences and all that stuff. And spoilers, these two end up falling in love, but not just yet. So she's fascinated with Megara as well. It's the local legend. The spirit of Megara roams the forest, and they talk about the spirit. They said that Megara's body died 2,000 years ago, but her spirit goes round and can possess people. So that's a part of it. Namaroff would likely have accidentally burned the letter. Out of the mummy. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. Like, what's the bloody actor's name now? He was in Stargate. Yes, he burnt the letter, didn't he? Anyway. Right, so they're talking about Megara. He says, "Have you seen? Nobody's seen her and lived, and all that, and it's terrifying." And she's obviously scared. and she doesn't want to see him get hurt. But she's worried. But anyway, right. So they're starting to fall in love, and he starts reading the letter again. Oh, this is where we get the old Herbert Spencer once said that every legend and myth has known to mankind is not entirely without its authentic foundation. Like the Wolfman thing, innit? All legends have a basis in fact. That's that bit. Eric Avari, yes, that's the fella. That's the fella that were in The Mummy and Stargate and other things. Independence Day, we're in that as well. So he's reading the letter again about the Megara legend could be true, and then I think we cut to there we go. We cut to Carla, and she's reciting. She must have like a photographic memory, eidetic memory, or whatever, because she was reading the letter, and now she's what's the word? Brain repeating it, whatever, what she read to Dr. Namaroff about the Gorgons. There we go. Does it tell the other name? Oh, Tisiphone, Medusa, and Megara, but obviously we know that the other one was Stheno, and not Megara, who was a Fury, goddess of vengeance. Not Megara from Disney's Hercules, by the way. I did look that up. I was like, I wonder if it's the same one. But the Megara woman in Disney's Hercules were based on one of Hercules' wives, and it's spelt differently. But that's by the by. Recite, yes, that's the word. Recite, yes. I have brain farts. It was also in Encino Man, or as it was called over here, California Man. Again with the mummy fella, Brendan, not Foster, the other one, Brendan Fraser. And I've never seen it. Right, their heads were crowned with living snakes, blah, 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 blah. Turn people to stone. We all know this. As you can see, she's remembering it. And she says, that's all I could read before I was sussed. And then we learned that that nutty woman has escaped again. She's obviously either punched Jack Watson in the face. He says she's got out again. And so he says, don't come back till you've found her. He says, I'll kill her. He says, bring her back alive. There we go. But there we see, it's a full moon again. So I don't know how many days. It's always a full moon, isn't it? Is it a month later? I don't bloody know. From the last time, maybe it is. Yes, Fraser. Yes, I got there in the end. Brendan Foster is a British athlete from the 70s and 80s. I think he was a long distance runner. May have even won an Olympic gold or Olympic medal. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyway. Oddly enough, he was a long distance runner, Brendan Foster. But now he's more famous for like commentating on curling. The winter sport curling. I think that's Brendan Foster. Or is that the other one? No, that's Steve Cram. Steve Cram, another long distance runner. He does the curling. Brendan Foster does commentary on other things. That's nothing to do with Brendan Fraser. They just share the same first name. Anyway. Right. He's writing away. Oh, yes. And the wind blows open the door. And he goes to investigate. Does he hear singing again, like his dad did? I can't remember. But he's going to investigate. He goes down to the pool. Oh, and then it just starts pissing it down. No, not Ben Foster. Brendan Foster. As I said, he was an athlete. Anyway, just suddenly starts raining, and he hang on. He looks in the pool, and then he sees the reflection of Megara. There she is with her snakes, giving it all that. They were like they're like on springs or something, and there were like cables going down the back, like an operator that were probably pushing buttons or something. It's 1964. The Find. They look just as good as I think we saw a Medusa, also a Gorgon in the Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe, which I think might have been around the same time as this. I can't remember when that film came out. Really good film. And that was similar. So, we didn't see a proper Gorgon, really, did we, until Clash of the Titans, 1981, with, good old stop motion, Ray Harryhausen effects. But anyway, Foster's Australian for beer. I've got some in the fridge. Foster's, the Amber Nectar. It's all right. I suppose an Australian would disagree. They say it's horrible. So he sees her, and then he goes running off. Because he doesn't look her straight in the eyes, just seeing a reflection. But it has an effect on him. He goes running up into his house, and then he sees a reflection again in the mirror, in the window. This is Prudence Hyman, by the way, as the Gorgon, as Miguel. So he sees her again, and runs off. He goes down there, look, and then I think he runs out into the woods. I think no, he doesn't. I'm lying. He sees her again, one last time, reflecting in there, and then collapses. His hand goes into the water, and we presume he passes out. And then he wakes up. He's in Dr. Namaroff's hospital, and we see he's got grey hair now. He hasn't got the vampire puncture marks on his forehead, but his hair's turned grey. So anyway, Aussies hate Fosters. It's like they're Milwaukee's best. I'm not a big beer drinker. Next, she'll tell me they don't eat blooming onions on the regular. I have no idea. That's French, isn't it? That is a solid effect for the snakes. It's fine, isn't it? It's fine. But in the special features and stuff on the Blu-ray, they kept saying, no, everybody were complaining about them and saying they look rubbish. But I think they look fine. I think people get too, I don't know, people criticise effects too much, I think. Even nowadays, we've got these CG and all that, but, it's fine as long as it progresses the story. Anyway, don't have to be perfect. Right, so anyway, wakes up. He's been tended to by the lovely Carla. And we learned that she found him. She found him in his house. I don't know what she was doing there, but she found him and had him brought back here. This is the crazy lady. I can't. Does she have a name? I don't know. I'm thinking like Maria, but I don't know if it is Martha. That's it. Not Maria. Martha. Oh, close. Why did you say that name? So this is Batman and Superman's mother. She's dead. Not turning to stone, I don't think. But is that an injury on her forehead? Or is that just a hair? I don't know. But she's quite dead. Ratoff's brought her back. Is this working? Yes, it is. Ratoff's brought her back, dead. And apparently he found her. She was still alive, and he said she just had time to spit in his face, and then she died. I suspect he killed her, but I don't know. He's telling him here that Mr. Heights has woken up. But anyway, but she's obviously not seen the Gorgon because she isn't turning to stone. So I think Ratoff killed her myself. Or she could have just died of exposure. I don't know, but I'm going to say Ratoff killed her because he's a baddie. I'm sure she was sent back to read the rest of the letter. I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know. But we find out later on why she was there. But anyway, he looks like a brute. Yes, he does. But he's good in the Wild Geese, Sergeant Sandy Young. Get up. What does he say now? To Roger Moore. I forgot his name. I forgot the name of his character. He's training them. He's training the mercenaries in the Wild Geese. Sorry to get off topic, but it's funny. He's the sergeant that's training them. He's the drill sergeant. And Roger Moore can't go any further. He's had them running round and doing assault courses and stuff. And he says, Captain, whatever his name is, if you do not get on your feet by the count of 3, I will kick your head in. And that makes him get up. Great film is The Wild Geese. We may do that one day on a Magnificent Monday. Anyway, so this is where we learn. He says, "What happened to me?" Is where we learn that they just found him unconscious. There you go. And Carla found him. What's he asking there for? 5? What was it? Oh, it's been there for 5 days. They say, "How long have I been here?" It says 5 days. That's why it says 5. But he can't remember anything. Just remember seeing something. But then he's gonna have a dream about it, a nightmare. But he's gonna keep him there under observation. And he shows him. He gets a mirror out and shows him that his hair's turned grey and stuff. And because of the shock, he's saying that. Anyway. So next time we see him, he's having a nightmare, and he remembers all about it. He wakes up screaming with some cool lighting, and talking about I remember the hair with those eyes and the snakes and all that stuff. There you go. And so she's saying, relax, caressing him, being a nurse. You know, we all like nurses, don't we? Right, so there's been a passage of time now. I don't, like I say, it said a couple of days, didn't it? So we'll say it's been a week or so, because he does say to Paul, does say to Dr. Namaroff that he's just learned that they had an inquest into his father's death a week ago. So he's been there at least a week then, hasn't he? In town. I don't know how long. He's been in the hospital a few days, we'll say. So, but now he's well, and now he can go. He's been discharged. And Dr. Namaroff says, "Well, I presume you'll be going now." But then he says, "No, I'm not. I'm going back to the house, and I'm going to find this creature and destroy it." But anyway, there we go. And destroy it. So he says, "Oh dear." So he gets on his electronic telephone device. He wants to see. He's calling for Ratov, for Jack Watson. He comes in, and he's going to tell him that it's a full moon. Don't let her out of your sight. And we think, "Oh, what's he talking about?" And we learn it's Carla. He's going to start following Carla around, because she just goes out for walks on full moons for some reason. And that's where he's saying, you know, "Is she in danger?" And he says, "She may be close to death." Obviously not. She's not ill, so she's obviously in some sort of mortal danger. Right, then we cut to this is Professor Heitz's grave, and Paul's digging it up. Actually, he's dug it up here. It's not a very deep grave. It's very shallow. You know, it's not 6 foot, not 6 foot under, but the Mister, I think maybe he wasn't available, but it's a Hammer film. Shouldn't they have Michael Ripper digging up the grave? It was always Michael Ripper, wasn't it, in Hammer films? But not this one. He's doing it himself. But they've thrown some money at Michael Ripper and said, dig this grave up. Anyway, so he digs it up. Look, not very deep. It's there. And because he wants to see his father, because remember, he wasn't allowed to see the body earlier on. Inspector Patrick Troughton, who's, I don't know his name. What is it? Patrick Troughton. Where is he? Inspector Canoff. I said they're all offs. The names. So he opens it up, and then we see in a minute when he's ready. He gets a crowbar, crowbars it open. Then we see Carla arriving. So he has a look at his dad. And then we see he's a statue, basically. It's obviously a clay thing of the actor's head, a mold, maybe, or maybe just a clay. You know, they got a fella to make a statue of the actor, Michael Goodliff. But as we see, his hair is maybe his hair. I don't know, but he's just turned into a statue. So he's like, "Oh, crikey!" It's pretty good, must admit. I think it is. Good likeness. And then Carla says, "I thought you might be here," looking kind of sinister in shadow. But then he just leaves the grave there. Has he closed the coffin and covered him back up? I don't think so, but anyway. Anyway, so, he wanting to learn what's happened. See, he grabs hold of her then, saying, "You know more what's going on," and all that jazz. But she says she knows something's wrong, and she knows that Dr. Namaroff, lies about things, and she thinks he's trying to protect somebody, but she doesn't know who, and all that. There you go. He won't tell her. She's asked him about it, and he won't tell her, and all that. It's where he's asking, is Namaroff in love with her? She says yes, he is. He's very protective, and he's jealous, and all that stuff. And he says, "Why don't you leave him?" He says, "I wish I could." And we learn, oh, there you go, they're loving each other now. Look, I love you, I love you. Oh, dear. I forgot what I said now. Oh, right, we learn that she arrived. We'll get to that. He was a doctor, but when Namaroff, when she arrived, she became ill, and he was a doctor, so that's why she feels an obligation for it to stay. Right, so in he goes back to his house. I'd be locking every door and every bloody. In fact, I'd be finding all the wood that they've got and boarding all the bloody windows and doors up. Nice pictures of Tony Gilpin there. Anyway. Oh, yes, there's a knock at the door. He opens it up, and it's Christopher Lee's arrived as Dr. Mites. So I say, "Oh, thank goodness you're here." So he's all jolly. And Christopher Lee, for this part, he wanted to be made up to look like Einstein. He wants a bit like mad scientist sort of thing. And I don't know if they originally made him look more like Einstein than they did, because apparently his first day of shooting or whatever, the producer, Michael Carreras, I think that the head of the studio, came in and says, "What have they done to you?" He says, and he explained, "I want them to look like, Einstein." And Michael Carreras says, "Well, you don't. You just look like Christopher Lee made up." So maybe they toned it down a bit. I don't know, but I think he looks fine. Stuck a big mustache on him. So he's arrived. I don't know what I think is he a professor or a doctor? I can't remember what he said. Christopher Lee. Yes, he's a professor as well. They're all professors in this, aren't they? Apart from Peter Cushing, who's just a doctor. I don't know if he's a professor of. I don't know if it told us, but he's a bit like it's like Sherlock Holmes arriving. He's just going to sort it all out and start deducing and detecting and stuff like that. Curiously enough, Peter Cushing would go on to play. Actually, had already played Sherlock Holmes, hadn't he, in 1959 in Hound of the Baskervilles, hadn't he? And he played him again on TV, didn't he? Anyway, that's by the by. So he's here to help and find out, what's happened, get to the bottom of the mystery. Right. So now Dr. Namaroff's basically going to start some sort of autopsy on poor Martha. He's going to take her brain out. Why? Don't know. Just is. Maybe they do that in autopsies. I don't know. I'm not Gillian Anderson. I don't know anything about stuff like that. Carla arrives. Oh, and he's asking her, "Where have you been? Where did you go?" She says, "Oh, I've just been for a walk." And he says, were you with anybody? No. So he takes her brain out, puts it in a jar. Then she starts remembering about what he told her about Megara. It was the night Martha escaped. He told me about Megara turning people to stone and all that stuff. And she's asking, was Martha was Megara Martha? Because I think he told her then, just before Martha escaped, that Megara had assumed human form. Doesn't say how. I don't know if she'd assumed human form or if she'd possessed somebody. Her spirit had possessed somebody that were already there. I don't know. But anyway, we're getting closer to the truth. That was one of my favourite versions of Hound of the Baskervilles. Yes, it is. It's cool. But I do like the Basil Rathbone one. I like all of them, to be honest. But I do love a bit of Hound of the Baskervilles, and that is a good version. Right, so she's saying, but you suspect, so it wasn't Martha. Martha's not Megara, so don't worry. But she just suspects somebody. She's trying to get it out of him who he thinks the monster is, but he won't say. But anyway, right. So Doctor, I forgot his name already. Meister, is it Meister? Me and names, Meister, yes. Dr. Meister, Professor Meister, sorry, and Carl is showing him, what's happened. He only saw her reflection, and he knows the legend that maybe because he only saw a reflection, that's why he didn't turn to stone, according to the legends. But it made his hair grey. It did affect him, but he didn't turn to stone. But he's not sure what he believes, because it's just a legend. Maybe it was a hallucination, and Paul says, it wasn't a hallucination. He says, oh, well, of course not. And that's why he says, don't try to humour me. But he's saying, he doesn't know. He's basically saying, I don't know, he's keeping an open mind. Anyway, so when he's asking about Carla, who found him, Carla found him, and he says, what is she like? And she's very beautiful, and they're in love, blah, blah, blah. Right, so next day they're going to go see Inspector Canoff. I think it's Canoff. And he wants his permission to do something. I've actually forgotten. He wants access to the information about Carla, and he won't help. He says, that's private information or classified or whatever. And he says, well, I could go higher up. I could go to the foreign secretary, who's a good friend of my brother. So he says, all right, then. I'll show you the files. They've got of all the women aliens registered here within the last 10 years. So he goes and gets a file. Here we go. Let me show you them. Let's go back a bit and see if there's any others that are interesting. Gretchen Booman. She was Austrian. And then we see, who else we got? Ellen, how the hell do you say that? Feld, a German lady. These are all the women that have come into the town and to become citizens or whatever of that town. They've got to be registered and all that jazz. And one of them, there she is Carla Hoffman. Got the nicest headshot of all of them, hasn't she? But it was here. We were 1903, so it was 7 years earlier. She'd arrived in the town. So he says to Paul, "Is that her?" Says it's not the best photo. It's a pretty good one, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. But hang on, where are we? I like The Great Mouse Detective. You know what? I've never seen that. Never seen it. It'll be on Disney Plus, won't it? I'll have to get around to watching it. I've never seen it. Solid photography for the time. Yes, probably had to sit there for half an hour. No, it's 1910. They had proper cameras. Maybe had the thing, watch the birdie. But, under his hood. Anyway, whatever. So, where were we? It's Vincent Price's final role, I believe. What, in Great Mouse Detective? Cool. Acting. Anyway, yes, he's acting, saying not a very good one. But we learn she's been there for 7 years, and then he asks, when did the murders start? These unsolved murders, when did they start? And we learn that it was 5 years previously. Anyway. Then he learns that he says to the inspector, I understand you're good townspeople, you're good democratic townspeople, tried to force out Professor Heights, whenever it was. Bet not attempt it with me. Don't know why. Maybe he's got a gun. I don't know. But anyway, so he says, yeah, whatever. But anyway, I just want to point something out here. That this annoyed me. This got me OCD going. His files here: A B C D E F G H. Why is ING the wrong way around? Maybe he had G out. Maybe it's got Gorgon information in there. I don't know. But why is G and I the wrong way around? I noticed it and it bothered me. Anyway, right. What's happening now? Carla's doing something. Mr. Heights is on the Paul's on the telephone, but Peter Cushing don't want to speak to him. He says he's too busy, he won't speak to him, so he has to make an appointment. He says, I can't see him, too busy, blah blah blah. On this where he says, you told me you went for a walk alone and you were lying. You were with Paul, and she's saying, do I have to count for everything I do? I'm fed up of this. You're sending Ratoff out to spy on me. And he says, well, I'm trying to keep you safe. And she says, well, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being treated like a criminal, blah, blah, blah. I want to take care of you, but she says she's sick. There you go. I am sick of your jealousy. So, because he's in love with her. And I'm sick of you. That cut him to the quick, wouldn't it? So off she goes. Paul's on the phone. I forgot, but he won't see you. But right, so she's asking him to meet in the morning at the castle at 7 a.m. Bit early, isn't it? Playing crikey. Can we make it, 9, 10 even? So the time to have some breakfast. He's a schmuck because he loves her. And he does love her because he cries later on. Great bit of acting from Peter Cushing coming up in a bit. So there we go. He won't see him. So they're going to go investigate anyway. So anyway, 7 o'clock the next morning. In he goes. And then we see she's sitting on the throne, being all weird and kind of sinister for some reason. I don't know why. But then I thought something was going to happen, but it doesn't. She just gets off the throne, and we learn that the castle's been empty for 50 years, and the legend is that the spirit of Megara behave. Oh, she started, hasn't she? Get. Yes, you got your claw stuck now, haven't you? Ooh, she's naughty. Bloody cat. Anyway, that scene where Paul is on the phone, it reminded me of Jude Law, didn't it? Hang on, I have to look back now. Keep going. It does have a little bit of a look of Jude Law, like an older version of Jude Law. Come on. Cool match shot there. It does have a bit of a look of Jude Law, I must admit. Anyway, right. Back to this. So there, she's talking about the castle. Hang on, get to that. She's talking about the castle and its history, and it's been empty for 50 years. And the spirit of Megara is said to roam the castle and the forest. So I was checking the cat. She's gonna do something, I can tell. But she wants to leave. She wants to leave with Paul. They're in love and kissing and stuff. So they're going to, she wants to leave and marry him and all this stuff, and do it immediately. But he says, I can't. I've got to stay and find out what's happened to my dad and my brother. Blah blah blah. And but she says, no, you can't stay. We've got to go now. But you're being naughty, aren't you? Ooh, she can hear my voice. She knows I'm doing stuff. Bloody animals. Anyway. Good doors for abandoned 50 years. It's in good nick, isn't it? The doors have been wide open for 50 years. There'd be all plants and all sort of growing in it, wouldn't there? Anyway. Urbex Hill would be in there looking for stuff, wouldn't he, with his camera and stuff. I like watching them on YouTube. Urban exploration. Anyway, he says he can't leave. Now he's got to find out what's happened to his brother and his dad and all that stuff. So she's saying, I've got to go. We've got to go immediately. It's a full moon and all that stuff. So she says, oh, Paul. And then she runs out. There we just see. Off she goes. She runs. Ah. So Paul goes after her, but this cat. I'm gonna get you. I am. Behave yourself, or there'll be trouble. She knows she's been naughty. Because as soon as I turn around, she stops. Don't you? She's listening to me. She's not looking at me, but she's listening to me. Get you, I will. Gorgeous, but naughty. Anyway, Ratoff arrives and he's got a big knife in his hand. For some reason, I think he just wants to kill Paul. I don't know. Maybe Namaroff told him to go and kill Paul. I don't know. But here we see him. He's gonna get him. Look, with a big knife. But Professor Meister arrives and have a bit of a kerfuffle, and then he throws his knife at Paul and misses by a mile, and then runs off. I said, why did Ratoff try to kill me? That's what I'd say. You know, why did he try to kill me? I'd be like, somebody threw a knife at me. But so they're going to go and ask Dr. Actually, no, they're not. I think this might be the scene where Dr. Meister breaks in to Namaroff's office. Yes, it is. So he's going to get in through the window. It's going to be an intruder. And how does he get in? In through the window. Yes. If it helps at all, I'm not hearing anything from her. She's been naughty. Oh, she's gone now. Gone into the kitchen. She's scratching on the furniture. She's not meowing. She's scratching on the furniture. Anyway, where were we? Because she's a cheeky monkey. Right, so he climbs through the window of Namaroff's office, being super stealthy and quiet, because he wants to find his files. There he is, and he's in locked filing cabinets with a big padlock on the cabinet. So he's going to just force it open with his little pocket crowbar. He doesn't hear a thing, so he must be deaf. But he'd be super quiet. So here he is. So he gets into the files. There he is. He's going to turn off the gas lamps because they're civilized. And then he hears him come out of his room there, and he just like stands there. If he'd have looked, he'd have seen him standing there. Why didn't he just duck down? But he doesn't. He just stands there. Thankfully, he's no peripheral vision. There he sees the door to his lab, office, whatever, is open. Hang on, where are we? As to not being scared, Ratfink did miss him by a country mile. I wouldn't have been scared either. Well, I would. Oh dear. Huh? Don't know. Where were we? He noticed that the door to his lab's open, so he goes to investigate, and Dr. Meister's just hiding in the corner, and quite tense. Comes up, and you think, he's just got to step through this door, and he'll see him. But thankfully, he just stops. He even looks in his direction. Look, a little glance, and glances in his direction there. Look, he doesn't see him, or does he? Don't think he does. Anyway, he turns around and goes back. So Carla's in her room, so he's going to go see Carla. But Carla's there, look. She's just going out again. Anyway, Professor Meister carries on, steals the files. This is the file on Carla. This is where we're learning all about her. She arrived here. There's something up with, I forgot what happened now. What does he say? I've forgotten. There we go. Probationary nurse here in 1903. There we go. 5 years early, she was suffering from amnesia, and she was treated by Dr. Namaroff, but she stayed there doing her job as a nurse. But anyway, but she was apparently cured. Doesn't say what the intensive treatment was, but she was apparently cured. But she hung about. So this is obviously why she's staying there. She feels an obligation to Dr. Namaroff, and he fell in love with her. Blah blah blah. But he puts two and two together. Says, "Oh, these episodes of amnesia coincided with the start of the murders, and he actually did look, and and the full moon as well, because he checked the dates because he's thorough." But there you go, time of the full moon. So it's all coming to him now. He's realizing. But there you go. You seriously suspect Carla is? Why shouldn't I? You know, they're saying it without saying it, aren't they? It's where they're saying that that is Carla Megara. There you go. But Megara's spirit has found a resting place in Carla's body. So does this mean that when Carla arrived from, because it says she's German, she arrived in the town in 1903, didn't she? On one of her walks through the woods or whatever, did Megara's spirit just enter her? I don't know. Or has she been Megara all along? No idea. But anyway, it's in her now. But she's ready to. That's it. She wants to leave, but the spirit of Megara, because it's a full moon, is too strong. It won't let her go. I think he said she's going to be on the train to. She's leaving. She's going to be on the train to Leipzig or whatever, or Berlin or wherever she's going. And he's going to meet her there later. That's what he says. But it says she won't make it there. She won't. You know, the spirit of Megara is too strong, so they've got to go and oh no, that's later. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's later. She's arrived here as Carla, looking after her. There we go. It's either in love, and this is where they decide that they're gonna go. But first, there we go. They arrive. Dr. Namaroff and the police. They bundle Carla upstairs out of the way. It was Agatha all along. It was Carla all along. Or was it? We'll see. He's arrived with the police, and they're looking for Carla. She's disappeared from the house, and they're accusing Paul of abducting her. Apparently, he's got a search warrant, so they're going to search the house. He says she's not here, so they go searching. They said she's not there. While the police are searching, Dr. Meister, I can't remember the bloody names, pulls out the knife that Ratoff tried to kill Paul with. Said, give this to Ratoff. He used it to try and kill Paul yesterday. But then the inspector comes down and basically just sees them arguing, and with Meister holding a knife, says, "I'll shoot you." Anyway, so everything calms down. We learn that she's not there, so there's nothing they can do. And this is where he says she's going to be on a train for Leipzig, and he says she'll not go because Megara's will is too strong. So what's going to happen now? I can't remember. He's talking about it's the full moon. They've got to find Carla. She's out on the full moon and all that stuff. But we know that she's been out before on the full moon. But anyway, this is where he does his cool bit of acting, his Oscar scene. This is where he goes and he gets all upset. Look, and we see some real tears from Peter Cushing. Look, there we go. Oh, Carla, oh God. Because he knows they're closing in on her. And they're going to, find out what's really going on. Is that yes, right? So he's just checking. She didn't arrive at the station, and he's thinking the police have caught up with her. But Meister says he don't think so. So they've got to go to the castle, basically. I think. But he said no. He's saying no. You've got to stay here. We'll go at daytime. We'll go in the daytime. It's too dangerous at night, so stay with me and all that stuff. So with passage of time, he's fallen asleep in a chair. They always fall asleep, don't they? And he's waiting upstairs, and then he decides, sod it, I'm going out the window. So off he goes out the window. He's heading up to the castle. There's the police arriving. They're going to start searching for it, I presume. Look at the door. They come to arrest Paul for abducting Carla, but there's nothing he can do. But he's not there. He's buggered off up to the castle, up to the map painting and model trees of the castle. So here he is. So then, the Meister distracts the police and runs upstairs, and he jumps out the window as well. There he goes. Christopher Lee, action star. So he's heading up to the castle. Right, Paul calling out for Carla, but then we see Dr. Namaroff's there as well with a big sword, and he says, "I'm waiting for Carla too." And so they have a fight. Lightning as well. Lightning flashed, of course. So they have a fight. He picks up a candelabra thing, whatever they call that. And so they have a fight with that. There we go. So it's cool fighting. Cool, he does good action things, does Peter Cushing. There they are, fighting away, blah, blah, blah. Loses his sword, but then she's there, is Megara. I don't know why she actually turns into somebody else. I don't know, but anyway, never mind. But they're still fighting. And he pushes Paul down the steps. So Paul goes tumbling down the stairs. But he turns round and he sees her. Oh, no. So she glares at him. I've seen her. He picks up the sword, but he can't stop looking at her. There we go. First close-up look. Pretty good makeup. People said it was rubbish. I think it's pretty good myself. But so we know what's going to happen to him now, don't we? So he falls down the stairs, or his stuntman does. Or maybe it's him. I don't know. But look, she looks pleased with herself, doesn't she? So he falls down the stairs, pulls the drape down. We don't actually see him turn to stone. We presume he's starting to turn to stone, but we don't actually see it. But lightning crashes, a new mother cries. That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. The body changes like that Buck Rogers episode. Which one? The one with the space vampire, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, Paul comes to, and he sees Namaroff lying there. We presume he's dead. No idea. We don't see him turn to stone or anything. But he gets up, and there we go. The big mirror there. It looks up, and he sees Megara reflected in the mirror. There she is, and she's like using her psychic powers or something, or powers of mental persuasion or something to get him to turn round. There's no dialogue, but here she comes. But he won't look. But then Christopher Lee arrives. Professor Meister. He arrived through the back door, I presume. There must be a back door because he's up there, look. And he sneaks up behind her. And there you go. She wants to turn him to stone. And she does. He looks round because he can't stop himself. And But Professor Meister, sorry. Cute hot chick transformed to a seedy hot chick. Oh, yes, that one. Yes. Like a blonde-haired girl who were all like weak and rubbish. And she turned into she looked like a bit like Diana from V, didn't she? She looked like her. She was like a criminal, wasn't she? Yeah. Yeah, good episode, that. Was that like Vegas in Space? Was that one? Might have been. Anyway, he picks up Namaroff's sword, look, that he dropped. And so anyway, poor Paul's going to turn to stone now. There we go, seeing him. So that's the end of poor Paul. But Namaroff, Meister's there, and he does his swing. Apparently, to reshoot this, I don't know. Maybe they had a wide shot of it. I don't know. But he swings his sword, and in a previous take, the actress, I've forgotten already. The bloody girl, Hyman. I forgot bloody name. Prudence Hyman. She was supposed to like move out of the way just in time, so he didn't basically chop her head off. But she didn't, and one of the I don't think the crewman or something had to like basically tackle her to the ground. So they had to do the scene again, and so we don't see it in a wide shot. We just see him swing the sword. How's he going to do it? Oh, for Pete's sake! There we go. Just going to see him swing the sword. He just swings it, and let's go back again. There we go. We don't see it. We just see a head roll down. So he's chopped off Megara's head. Yeah, I think it was Casino World. I can't remember. I thought it was Vegas in space. But anyway. Is that the one? No, is it the one with Pamela Susan Shoop looking super sexy? I don't know. Is that a different one? I can't remember. Anyway, that's a hell of a sabre. It is. It's taking the head clean off. Behave yourself. Just a minute. I was going to let the cat out. Just bear with me. I'll be but a moment. Oh, where are we? Is it that one? There we go. Come on. Yeah. I'm back. She's naughty. How do I put the bloody camera back on? Like that. Don't touch anything whilst. Stop using the word whilst. He's gone. Anywho, right, he's chopped off her head. There we go. Not the best severed head, but it'll do. Is it bloody wire wet that pulled it, guys? Pardon me. But anyway, so he's chopped off Megara's head. There it is. Poor Paul. I hope he's not looking at her eyes, because we all know from Clash of the Titans, even a severed head can still turn you to stone, can't it? But I hope he's not looking at her. But poor Paul, he's turning to stone, look. So, all right, snakes retract for some reason. Well, we know why. That poor Paul's looking on. They say, "Oh, Carla," and then a cool bit of I'll go back a bit. A cool bit of like stop motion and mixed with dissolves and stuff of the face, Megara's face receding into Barbara Shelley's model head. It's fine. It's 1964, for Christ's sake. It's fine. So it was Barbara Shelley. So that's supposed to be Barbara Shelley, by the way. So he says, Carla, poor Carla. But so basically, all the main characters in this film die, apart from Professor Meister. He says, "Oh, Carla, oh," and then he dies. But Professor Meister says, "She's free at last." There you go. She's free now, Paul. And then Paul dies. I actually thought he was going to freeze like that, in that as like a statue, but he doesn't. He actually slumps to the ground. And then that's the end of the film. They're going to do it. There you go. A Hammer film production, just ending on a severed head. It's not all blood and stuff on the Barbara Shelley head, but never mind. That head looks like the old woman from Mr. Rogers. No, I've never seen it. I don't think they ever showed Mr. Rogers over here. I don't think they did. Anyway, so there we go. That's the end of the Gorgon. It's a tragedy. It's a bloody tragedy, is this film. In a good way. It's a well-made tragedy where everybody dies apart from Christopher Lee. It's a tragic love story. I suppose you could say a Greek tragedy, but set in Eastern Europe. And it's a great film. I love it. I didn't know about it for ages, and then I think I've said before, I caught it on the. Oh, what's happened here? I caught it on. Let's get rid of that. what they call the channel now? Talking Pictures. That was it. It was on. There's a channel called Talking Pictures where they show a lot of old stuff. And I caught it one night completely by accident, and I thought, wow, that was amazing. And like I say, I thought I had it in my box set. I've got this box set of Hammer films that I've got over there. I don't know how many there's in it, but it's not in there. But I think it might be because I think the box set might just be the Hammer distributed by Warner Brothers, so that might be why it's not in there. I can hear Eccleston yelling, "Just this once, everyone dies." Is that in Doctor Who? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the end of the Gorgon. A cool film. I really like it. I think it's quite classy. I think it's one of the classiest Hammer films. I think it's a really good film that's probably not very well known. It's one of the lesser Hammer films because it's not Dracula or Frankenstein or the Mummy. There's several Mummy films, didn't there? But I think it's still well worth a punt, in my opinion. So there we go. And I think they all do great performances in it. Peter Cushing plays, a decent bad guy. I don't think he's evil. He's in love basically. And he's obsessed with Carla, isn't he? But his tears, his real tears and stuff. It's great stuff. But anyway, good movie, better review in my mind. It's a great film. Well, he says lives in the empty child. All right. Just this one's everyone lives. All right. I've seen the empty child episode once. I know. Are you my mummy? Right. So we're done. We'll leave it there. What's coming up next? What day are we on Friday? Sunday, I'll be back with a sketch time. I wasn't going to do one this week. I was going to have a day off. But I found a picture that I quite liked. So I'm going to draw that. So we're going to have sketch time on Sunday at 9 p.m. Then what's next? On Monday, Magnificent Monday this week is Firefox. There we go, Firefox with Clint Eastwood. Cool film. I don't think I've got anything planned after that. Yes, I have. The Monday after is Forbidden Planet. There's my HD DVD of it. It's Forbidden Planet. That's a week on Monday, but I haven't decided what next Friday's appointment with Fear is going to be just yet. Right, so we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So thanks, Win Grace. Thanks, Josh Temple. And thanks, Joshua Kanapke, for the $5 super chat, which is amazing. Thank you very much. Didn't we already do Forbidden Planet? Oh, don't tell me. I've already done it. Let me check. I didn't think I had. Have I? Let's have a look back. If I have, I'm going to have to change it, aren't I? Oh. Right. Magnificent Mondays. View full playlist. Close Encounters, Fifth Element, Highlander, Star Chaser, Battlestar Galactica, Contact, King Kong, Flash Gordon, Cloverfield, Stealth, Sword and the Sorcerer, Sky Captain, Hellboy, Troll Hunter, Knowing, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Capricorn 1, District 9, Renfield, Starship Troopers. Why did I do Renfield for a Friday night appointment with Fiat? Don't know. James Bond Double Bill, Batman Returns, Time Machine. No, I don't think we've done Forbidden Planet. Troy, Krull, Battle Los Angeles, Judge Dredd, Last Starfighter, RoboCop, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Space 1999, Warlords of Atlantis, Total Recall, Congo, and coming up, we've got Firefox, Forbidden Planet, and the special one on the 4th of May, Star Wars 1977. Or was it this? No, we haven't done that either. We haven't done This Island Earth either. Well, I don't know what I'm thinking then. No, I don't either. That's another one we might get to, This Island Earth. Although I do prefer the Mystery Science Theatre 3000 version, which makes me laugh. Right, so that's what's coming up anyway. As I said, I haven't decided what next Friday's appointment with Fear is going to be yet. We will see. Right. So, as I said, we'll leave it there. So thanks, Win Grace. Thanks, Joshua Kanapke. for the $5 super chat. Amazing, as I said. Thanks, Josh Temple. Didn't need your harpoon in the end. Christopher Lee sorted it out with his big sword. Well, or rather Peter Cushing's big sword. But anyway, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't have night. I'm sure I've missed something. I'm sure I forgot to say something. I'm sure I have. I'm sure I forgot something. What have I forgotten? I don't know. I don't know. It can't be important. It can't be important. I don't know. Anyway, right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll say the...